Hello and welcome along to another thrilling episode of the Andrew Eborn Show, where I'm joined by my old pal, Mike Reed. How are you, Mike?
Fine. Good to see we haven't changed since the last time we were out. You and your check jacket, me and my old pullover. Very good. Yeah, just is it clean? Yeah, we'll stick it on.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's normally this time of year that you and I would be doing the dynamic duo down in Cannes on the Croisette, the king and queen of Croisette. Well, I'm not sure who would be the queen, but we would work on that sort of thing. We would be down there, wouldn't we?
The two kings of the Croisette is better.
Kings of the Croisette.
The two kings of the Croisette, or the knaves even better.
We used to love it, and people used to gather around and throw the palms down and things like that, and the peacocks would follow our way and all those sort of glorious things. It was a joy going to Cannes, and this year, it was all done remotely. And I interviewed the great and the good, the heads of the network. We had the Trish Cananes from Fremantle, who is responsible for American Idol, and we had the heads of Banerjee and Endemol, who do Big Brother, and they were all talking about how they're doing shows in lockdown, because nowadays you can't have these big studios, you can't have this big gathering, but your creative juices have continued throughout. And what I loved about going to Cannes with you is not that everybody just recognized you as they always do. It's always fun to walk with a superstar down the Croisette, but you always come up with brilliant ideas. And one of those ideas, which I love, and I saw it from the very initial stages, and the little germ of the idea that you had, was talking about heritage artists and bringing a new spotlight onto those. Tell us a little bit more about those.
Yeah, well, the heritage artists aren't getting a look in. I think there's no point in putting a sort of demographic on it. We know who our heritage artists are. And they weren't getting a look on any radio stations, Radio 2, the national commercial stations, the local radio, really the odd cursory play here and there. But they've really got terrific careers still out there, still performing, still got big fan bases, still making records. And quite a few of them said to me, we're making these great records and nobody's playing them apart from you. So I formed the Heritage Chart. It's been 14 weeks now, really, really popular. And we're taking that onto this new TV series I've done with Mike Stock. That was then, this is now, which starts on November the 5th, pay to view in the old Top of the Pop slot. This is now .tv is where to go to get your tickets. It's only a tenner and you can watch that 1 hour Top of the Pop type thing all week long. So it's really, really cheap. And it's a profit share. It's a new role model, new business model. It's a profit share with the artists. And even Reuters came down to cover it when we were filming, because they said this is a really good new business model. It's trying to get people to think in that way, because people used to go, flick, switch on, what channel is it on? Well, it's not working like that at the moment, because these artists aren't getting paid for Top of the Pops reruns and things like that. So we thought we'd come up with a new business model that actually meant the artists would profit as well. They loved it, so they're doing one of their great hits, one of their new hits, and other sorts of stuff in between. But no, it's very important, the Heritage Chart, and it's very important for heritage artists. So yeah, it's always coming up with ideas. Ideas are always good. The problem is, as you know, when we're in Cannes, I come up with ideas like doing a series on the Blue Plaques. We're still trying to get away, pop quiz. Like, you can run a strong first leg, and then you're looking for someone to hand the baton over to. And often I run the first leg and I think, yeah, and I stick my hand out with a baton and there's nobody there. And I keep running, and I'm waiting for that hand to come out somewhere. I think I've done 2 legs now, I've done 3 legs. You can't do all 4 legs. So yeah, it's always trying to find someone to hand the baton to, the right team to put around you. That's key. Sometimes you have the greatest ideas, but you need the right team around you. You can write a great song, but you need a record company, you need musicians. So yeah, you've got to have the right team, I think.
Oh no, absolutely. And it's that perseverance as well. You see that every successful format has taken years and years and years to get right. There's no such thing. It takes years and years to get an overnight success, is what they say, don't they? So, and for example, that I have a business with the creators of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. We have a company called Box of Tricks, and that took 2 years of touting around the business before it eventually came on air, and it's still running to this day with a new presenter. Jeremy Clarkson is there, but it's sold around the world, and that's a phenomenal success. What I love about your Heritage Chart and what you're doing now, that was then, this is now, it's like Top of the Pops plus. So you get the old stuff, and you then get a look at the artists and what they're doing now. And I know the artists themselves are really grateful for that, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and they're all out there. I mean, this year they haven't been able to work, obviously. I mean, it is the old thing, that the harder you work, the luckier you get. But this year there've been no gigs, so when they came to the studio, I remember Kim Wilde said, "This is great." She said, "We're getting TV promotion. People are getting to hear the songs we've been doing, and my dad and I and my daughter have been doing, and we're getting to play live in the studio, which is what we do, and we're getting to see some old friends, and we're getting a share of the profits. You know, this is brilliant. But you have to come up with something new, with new ideas. And Mike Stock has worked very, very hard on it, put together a great program. And it looks fantastic. I mean, it really looks, it's Top of the Pops Plus. Looks really, really good. I just hope we get it away. It's just getting people used to that new mechanic of going to a website, buying something. It goes through a million questions. Well, how does it work? How long is it? What do I do? How long can I watch it for? Can I watch it? How long does it last? And of course, that's natural. You're going to get all those questions with anything new. I mean, when the rocket was on the rails, people were saying, how fast does it go? Will I die if I travel by train? Is it going to kill everybody just traveling on a train? No, only Huskinson, the man that stepped in front of it. But apart from him, no, it's not. But going at this speed, is it not dangerous? But all these questions, no, we don't question. We get on a train and we go, 100, 120 miles an hour, we don't think about it. But when there's anything new and innovative, people are querulous. It's like, well, tell me about it. What do I do?
Yeah, and I think it's flattening that learning curve. But what I do love, and you make two really interesting points there, is that I've seen the feedback on social media. Firstly, the production values are brilliant. And as you say, the Stock Aitken Waterman, at least 1/3 of those, it's got to be a really good sort of heritage on that sort of basis. But the artists themselves are so delighted because they've been at home, not working. People assume that they're not like these celebrities, they just have mountains of money. They don't. They're dependent on getting out and gigging. And if you can't get out and gig, you still have bills to pay and things like that. It makes it tough. So what they want to do, there's a real urgency, if you like, to get out and find new ways of doing things. So good credit to you for giving them that platform, which is superb.
Yeah, and they all enjoyed it. And of course, the great thing is about old school reunion. They bump into you. Hello, mate. Oh, I haven't seen you for years. How are you? I love your new single. Oh, I love yours. I mean, it's great. So there's that bit of a mutual admiration society that probably, back in the day when management record companies said, oh, don't talk to them, they're higher in the charts than us. There's the element of trying to be a bit cool. And everyone's grown up a bit now, and said, back in the day that used to happen. But now, I love your song. It's absolutely great. So there's a lot of that, a lot of goodwill, a lot of support for each other as well. Which is good.
And that certainly comes over the chemistry between the artists. It really was. It's like the bits that I've seen, it's like a sort of Live Aid recording where you get the great and the good, and now a lot of them personal chums come into the studio, and there's a wonderful energy about it. Tell us about some of the artists who we can see.
There are loads of artists. I mean, people like Owen Paul and Chesney Hawkes, who are always classed as one-hit wonders, but of course they're not. They've been working ever since. Owen fronted, Ex Simple Minds, worked with Mike and the Mechanics. Ches has been out playing live the whole time, a great musician and a great songwriter. Just because they're not in the limelight or don't get seen in the chart, it doesn't mean they're not working and not good. I mean, Ches are fantastic performers. Limahl, it was Limahl that I first talked to when I came up with the Heritage chart, and I said, but your song's brilliant. He said, I know nobody's playing it but you. So Limahl was delighted to come on, do his new song, Still in Love, which has been so popular. In any other era, it would have been a big hit. And of course, one of his old classics, we saw Never Ending Story or a Catchy Goo Goo song or both or whatever. And he was fantastic. So Limahl, Steve Harley, of course, still out there, still playing and doing stuff as well. Johnny Hates Jazz, Kim Wilde, Marty Wilde, and Roxanne Wilde. There are 3 generations of Wilde performing together. That's a piece of history. And on the Heritage chart last week, it's the first time since June 1962 that Cliff and Marty have been on a chart together, on a top 20 together. So it's amazing. And of course, the Fizz, Paul Bucks Fizz, Cheryl, Mike, and Jay, absolutely fantastic. Lee John, as we know, we see Lee down in Cannes at this time of year, MIPCOM, don't we? He's a wonderful character, and he's doing some imagination stuff, medley in his new single, and he's absolutely wonderful as always. So Toya is wonderfully dramatic, and she is terrific. So we've got so many people on there. It's Right Said Fred. It's great. We've got a whole a whole team of people, and it's going to be fantastic. I just hope that people, whiz over to thisisnow.tv and buy a ticket and get used to the way this is going to work, because it is a new model and it is helpful to the artists. So I hope people don't go, oh, I don't know.
Well,
I'm used to going.
Absolutely go and try it. thisisnow.tv. It's starting in November. You can go along. The website, I've seen it's been released. You can get your tickets now. It's only a tenner, isn't it, per show? I think that's it. And you can sign up for that. And part of that money goes to the artists. It's a brilliant initiative. I wish you every success with it, Mike. We'll get you back on the show, as always. I love it seeing you. And it's all good. Enjoy today, and we will catch up a little bit later. But Mike Reed, for now, thank you very much for being my guest.
Fantastic as always. Thank you, Andrew.
Take care. Bye-bye.